Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Corey Lee, and today I want to talk to you about the son of Jacob, Joseph. Joseph was one of those special characters in the Bible that I really, he was one of my favorite people in the Bible, and I got a lot of reason for that. I think one of the most important reasons for it is because it's like my life oftentimes look like his. And I don't even want to say oftentimes because it's just like that. It's like the whole thing is like that. And I got a lot of reason for saying that because I haven't seen the end of my life yet as far as time is concerned. But I have seen the end of my life as far as vision is concerned. Have you ever had a vision or a dream that you knew came from God and it prophesied to you the end of your life? And not the end as in like your last couple years or something like that. I mean, it was the beginning of how the rest of the story will go. And that can be a 10-year time frame. That can be a 20-year time frame. Like that can mean anything, but one thing you do know is it definitely don't look like that right now. Like that's one thing I can say. I remember when I first got saved and I was probably about maybe 3 to 6 months in, sometime after receiving the Holy Spirit. And I went to bed one day. I fell asleep on the floor after work, and I don't know why I was so tired. I was unreasonably tired. And I fell asleep and I had a dream about the rest of my life. And I knew that's what it was because there were things in that dream that only could have come from God. Like, I didn't really know a lot about the Bible at that time, especially the book of Acts. And it's like I had a dream about the book of Acts, and there were things that were being said in that dream that were only said in that book. And I never even read that book before. It was just kind of crazy. It's not like I had the dream because I was already having my mind focused on related subjects, right? Like, like if you go to bed after watching a scary movie, you kind of have a scary dream. Nah, it just wasn't like that. It really wasn't like that. But I seen a glimpse of the rest of my life. And that dream was like, it was telling three different stories, but it was one story. And each part had a different meaning to it, right? And so I never, ever forgot that dream. I have only told a handful of people what that dream was. I think I even might have talked about it here on my YouTube channel more than once too. So if you go back in history sometime, I might have talked about my dream about the tribulation period because that dream also involved the tribulation period. And sometimes we wonder what the fate of the church is going to be like and God's people during that time. And truth be told, there is going to be another point in time when the church will be just like the book of Acts. But we got to wait for the end. And I don't know if it's going to be the whole 7-year period. I really don't know. All I know is that it's coming. And that's why I have always stayed strong, even through trials and tribulations, because I know what God has prophesied on my life. Have you ever had something like that when you just know, like the plans he have for you, but you don't know all the details? Right? And that's kind of what Joseph had. He knew the plans God had for him. He just did not know the details. I mean, he definitely didn't foresee that what God showed him about himself, he was going to spend a lot of years going through the polar opposite of what God showed him. Have it ever occurred to you that God will usually test what he tell you through you receiving the opposite to see if you really believe him? And for as long as you are losing faith, it's like, man, you got to keep on going through, bro. You just got to keep on going through. But what I want to talk to you about this is the rest of the details, the middle of the story, the beginning of it, the things that don't ever get said like that when people are listening to a success story. Is a lot of stuff that don't get talked about ever that really make or break the whole story, really. But this is one thing. And this is Genesis chapter 39, verse 21. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy. Every time I read this, I say to myself, I wonder what that truly meant. But the Lord was with Joseph. It's like, do you really ever think about like what individual verses really mean? I mean, because I can only imagine being in Joseph's shoes, because I oftentimes am in his shoes, and a whole lot of you are and will be. And you go through things that really test you. You like, God, you told me and you promised me. And if it wasn't for you showing me this, I wouldn't even be mad about what I'm going through right now, because I would probably just take it as this is life. If it wasn't for the fact that you showed me something different, and here I am, I'm facing the whole opposite. That's the part that really make me the most mad. It's not even what I'm going through. It's the fact that you showed me something different. And this is what this turned into. And all the Bible can say is the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy. Showed him mercy. I wonder what he really mean by that. Because there's two ways you can describe what showing somebody mercy would look like. Somebody doing something wrong to you or not understanding what they're doing wrong. And you have to kind of be patient with them and let them know that, hey, I understand that you don't understand, but I am the one that's fighting for you. Like, can anybody guess why I said that? It was another dream I had. And those words were said in the dream I had the day I seen the Messiah face to face. I've never seen him since then. That was around the time I first got saved too, but that was well after the first dream I was talking about. And it was the most frightening dream I ever had in my life. And those were the only words he said to me, because I didn't understand what I was going through. I just didn't understand it. And then there's another thing you can call showing somebody mercy. You know, putting somebody out of their misery or helping somebody through their misery or ending somebody's struggle and saying, look, I have seen the misery of my servant for way too long. It is time to put an end to this and show him mercy and get him out of this situation. See, it's a lot of things the Bible don't say when it talk about stuff. That don't mean it didn't happen. I can almost bet you the time Joseph spent in prison, he was peed off. Like, he probably lost heart some days. He probably cried himself to sleep and saying, Lord, I am not strong anymore. I believed you when you told me this, but what happened? What did I do so wrong to deserve it? Although I know I'm not deserving of anything. Like, if you deliver me, you deliver me. But if you don't, I at least tried. It start making you go back and think, like, I wonder if the dream I had was even true. Now, I know I had that dream, and there was a lot for me to go by that made me believe that this had to come from nobody but God. But I'm really wondering, is this just my own mind playing tricks on me? Like, was I under the inspiration of the enemy and I was seduced into believing it was God? Like, something is wrong here. And God, he hears all of that, and he's like, I'm still with you. And I know that you can't always be strong, but please just try to. I understand how hard it is to trust that I was telling you the truth. I understand how hard it is to trust that you still believe it was even me who told you. It's not even that you find it hard to believe God was telling you the truth, because you know God can't lie. You start wondering if it was even God in the first place. You like, okay, so I know God is not a liar. Now, if we take that out of the equation, I only got two other ways to look at this. Either A, it must have not been God, or B, I just got a little bit more to go through. Little bit more to go through. That's what you need the Holy Spirit for. So that way he can always remind you of the position you in, and to remind you to stay strong, and to let you know that your story is not over. Even though it look the way it look right now, it is not over. He's not going to sit here and watch you go through what you go through forever. And I'm sure the Lord was like, look, I have heard the prayers of my servant for years. His prayers reach to heaven about this. I have seen him going through the same struggle for years. And partly because I ordained it. Have you ever been in a situation when every time you do what is right, it's like you get what is wrong in return? And then you say to yourself, well, maybe I just need to do wrong. And then you do what is wrong, and it get way worse. And it's not like you just say, I need to do wrong for, the purpose of doing wrong, right? It's just that sometimes you don't always believe that the way you see something is wrong. And you say, okay, now I was patient with this person last time. It blew up in my face. Maybe I need to quit being so patient with them. And then it blow up even bigger. Or you say to yourself, now I gave this person a chance last time and it blew up in my face. Maybe I need to quit giving this person chances at all. And it blow up even bigger. And you just saying to yourself, what do I do now? What? The Lord is with you and will show you mercy. Don't you know that the gospel say that those who show mercy will be shown mercy? He do not discount all the mercy you show other people. He do not discount all the times you have been patient with other people. He do not discount the large number of things you forgive other people of, even if they will never even see that what they are doing, what they have said, and how they are with you is wrong. And this go for everybody in your life. So what happened to Joseph? Okay, so let me sum up his story just a little bit. Joseph was a young boy his dad loved. Okay, he was the youngest. I don't believe he was the youngest. But nah, I do believe he was the youngest, right? Of his of all his brothers, okay? And he had a dream um, that the sun, the moon, and the 12 stars bowed down to him, right? And it was another dream that kind of signed off on that as well. And he went and told his brothers and his dad the dream, and they all got mad at him. So his brothers, his brothers like threw him in a pit. All right. After being thrown in the pit, he was sold into slavery once. After being sold into slavery, he was sold again. I mean, he was sold twice. They sold him 2 times. His brothers sold him to one people. Those people sold him to the Egyptians. It's like, come on. So I'm sitting here having a dream that I'm going to be on top of the world one day for I don't know what reason. All I know is that's what I seen. And you mean to tell me a few days later, I done got sold like cattle twice? What in the world? But the Lord was with him. It was all setting him up for what would make that dream true. There would be no other reason for why his oldest brothers would all serve him and bow to him in the way that they did if it wasn't for something they did wrong to him. It's not like they just would have just did it for nothing, right? They had to do what they did. They had to. Now, I'm sure God could have worked this out in any other way, but he had a reason for this. It seemed like when God wants you to go ahead of other people, to be in a position to be used by him to be their deliverer, it will usually look like you're going backwards. It will usually look like you're losing. It'll usually look like everybody is walking on ahead of you. And even though you strive to do what is right, it's like you get everything wrong in return. And even the very people who treat you the way they do, who see you the way they do, who operate with you the way they do, it's almost like life reward them for it. And it's hard to really believe, like, what is going on here? Like, you mean to tell me the very person who ripped me off, it's like they always end up more well off than me. It's not that I care about being well off at all, but why does it work this way? The very people who have been used in ways to destroy my life, it's almost like theirs get better and better. And mine seem to still be affected by the very one thing they did years ago. And it's like you look around and you can still see the results of somebody else's actions. And it's not like you can say that none of yours mattered either, right? But still. And you start to wonder, like, what is going on here? Like, you really wonder that. It almost make you want to believe there is no reward for righteousness at all. It'll almost make you want to believe that. It'll almost make you want to believe that. I am not lying to you. Like, there would be no other reason why I would even think up something like that if I truly did not experience this time after time. Like, what in the heck? But it is what it is, you know. And even when Joseph was in Potiphar's house, being a servant, the Lord was with him and blessed the work of his hands, even the work he was doing as a slave. It seemed like Joseph, he had all the skill and ability in the world to be so much better than a slave. But it seemed like none of his skills, none of his ability, none of the anointing on his life would have ever gotten him out of the situation that he was in just because he tried hard enough. Just because he tried hard enough. Just because he made the right moves. Nah, that didn't get him out of it. It didn't. It seemed like every time you try and stand up to get yourself out of your situation, it's like you are always brought right back into that same position somehow. Always. It's like you are always at somebody else's mercy. And here it is. Like, that should really not be the way your life is. Not you, right? But, I mean, who am I to say? I mean, we truly don't deserve much at all, really, to be all the way honest with you. And when Potiphar's wife, tried to lay down with Joseph, Joseph refused. He's like, look, I cannot sin against God. He did what was right by God, and it seemed like he was punished for it. It'll really start making you think, like, God, how come even doing right, I get punished for it? Why do you let this happen to me? It almost makes you believe that God doesn't want you to do right. Like, it'll really almost make you believe that, like, all right, now should I have just done what's wrong? Right? Because I don't see how me ending up in prison, even after being sold twice, could get me in the position that the dream you gave me has showed me. So, like, must I be a sinner to get there? Or, like, what? Like, because I tried to do right. And it's almost like I seem to get further and further away from that position that you showed me in my dream. And it's not like I would have ever even cared about any of this, but you showed me that. Like, should you had just not said anything and I just went about my life, like, I would have been fine with that. You know what I mean? Like, if I would have never known any of that, I would have been all right with it. I really would be. It's not like I need to be the man, right? Like, it's not like I need to be rich. Like, if I'll never be rich, I'm okay with that. You do know that, right? If I'll never be on top of the world, I'm okay with that. You do know that, right? If you will never bless me in the way that you showed me, I am 100% okay with that. You know that, right? Like, I'm fine as long as I have something to do that I enjoy. I really don't need all of that. But if it wasn't for you showing me that, I wouldn't even have this problem right now. I wouldn't even have these doubts, even if I would have still ended up in prison. I wouldn't have these kinds of doubts burdening me had I never knew any of what you showed me early on. I mean, if I end up sold as a slave, fine. I mean, it's not fine, but I would have found a way to be okay with it. If I would have ended up in prison, okay, that's not fine. I'm not cool with that. But I would have found a way to be okay with it. It makes me more mad that you showed me something different. But the Lord was with him and showed him mercy. The Lord was with him and showed him mercy. Has it ever really been like that before in your life? Or I don't even want to say before. It's probably like that now. Now, because you want to know something, he's got a lot in store for us. A whole lot. But most of that we will not see until an appointed time for when the position he put us in to matter the most. And that's most likely during the last 7 years or sometime before that. It seemed like every year, I always believe we in the last 7 years. I'm like, man, this is probably the start of that. And it's like, yeah, you said that 3 years ago. It always seemed to look that way. Always. But the Lord was with him and showed him mercy. You really just got to understand. Every time you buy a car, somebody else wreck it. You like, I can't even have nothing. Even if I worked hard for it, I can't have nothing. What must I do? Rob somebody now? Like, I can't do that because that's sin. It's like every time you turn around, you are always at somebody else's mercy. Even if you worked hard, you can't have nothing. Even if you were a good steward, you can't have nothing. Even if you prayed about it, it's like, yeah, you can have it, but it'll be a matter of time before you don't. And you like, what am I doing so wrong? Why am I always at the mercy of wicked men and women? Why? And it ain't always wicked people either. I don't really believe Potiphar was really all that evil. I mean, I don't believe he was saved, but I believe Potiphar himself was a good person. I really do. I really do believe that. Now, his wife, on the other hand, oh no. But why am I always at the mercy of other people? For what reason? And here it is. I didn't come from a family of slaves nor sinners. And not only am I a slave, I'm in prison because I was accused of being a sinner. What happened? It seemed like everybody around you, they always take you to be something you not. Or they always treat you like something you not. It's like you get all the treatment that somebody else truly do deserve. Not that you don't deserve anything evil in return for even the time you did spend in sin in your life. It's like anything is better than what I really deserve. Anything is better than the lake of fire, because that's what I really deserve if it wasn't for the gospel of Christ. And so I'm not going to sit back and try and make life pay me what I deserve, because that's the first thing I deserve. Day one, born in sin. Okay, it'll be a matter of time before I'm wicked. I might be innocent as a child, but it'll be a matter of time before I lie. It'd be a matter of time before I end up tempted to steal. It'd be a matter of time before I fornicate. From day one, born as a child. Born destined to be a sinner. And so if I really want to go back to what I deserve, then I might as well look at that too. So you don't even want to think about all that. And you're like, look, I'm not about to be proud like that. But I know one thing. I'm sure not the kind of person you take me to be. I sure don't need being treated like something I am not. I sure don't need somebody misinterpreting every one of my intentions. And here it is. I intended to do them well. I mean, you do what is love and they take it as hate. And you do what is right, they take it as wrong. Like nothing you do is ever good enough for anybody. It's always something else. People know the light on your life. They just don't know that that's what it is. People know what make you different from everybody. They just don't know that it is the Lord. Like people know when they actually prefer to have people like you around them instead of all the people they know. They just don't know that the real reason is the Holy Spirit on you. they don't really know that that's the real reason why. All they know is you're different, but yet they still don't know how different. It's like every time you turn around, like, have you ever been in a position where it seemed like every time you get your hands, every time you end up in a certain position, it's like people want ownership of you, like sole ownership of you for I don't know what reason. It's like you start seeing a woman, she wants sole ownership of you. She don't even like you going to work for other people. It's like you go to work for somebody else, they want sole ownership of you. They don't even want you working somewhere else. It's like you get around certain groups of people and they don't like you being around anybody else but them. It's like why me? Like and it's like you don't want to think about that either, because then that kind of sound a little rude too. Like, and bro, like you ain't that special. Come on, man. But it really do seem to work like that though. It really do seem to work that way. It's like it's so many more people who could do this better than me. It's so many more people who can get here on time. I can't. It's so many more people who can do this faster. I can't. It's so many more people you ain't got to have one complaint about. It just seemed like, it just always seemed to be that way. So with that being said, the real reason why it's like that is because of the light on your life. And the darkness comprehended it not, but it knew what it is. It just can't understand it. And that doesn't mean everything else in your life is darkness. It just means that every position God put you in, he anoint you for, he make you for. And it's one thing to be skilled. It's one thing to be talented. It's one thing to be knowledgeable about something, but it's another thing to have the grace to do this. Joseph had the grace to be in the position he was in. He really did. He could withstand it. Can you? I'm sure you can. That's why God have you in that situation. I mean, he don't choose you for something you can't do, but guess what? You truly can't do it. That's why he chose you for it, because you can't do it. You can't do it without him. And because he is with you and showing you mercy is why you keep going. Is why you still wake up every day knowing your life sucks. And it's not even like you worked for it. It's like I could understand if I ended up in this position from selling drugs. But I don't even do drugs. And I'm treated like I'm somebody that live in that world. I could understand if I ended up in this position because I really did do something. And I can't say I've done nothing, but dang, not that though. I can understand if I was really that big of a problem to you, but I'm not. But the Lord is with you and will show you mercy. You just got to understand that he keep his promises with you, even when it look like the opposite is the case. Even when it look like the opposite is the case, he keep his promises. But why do he got you in that position? Because he's building your character. The right character will take you places that just being gifted can't do. It's like, yeah, being gifted can get you there, but it can't keep you there. I mean, because you can be gifted and ain't got no patience to deal with the situations that your gifts are useful for. I mean, you can be talented but have no kindness. Like, you can be gifted and don't have the fruit of the Spirit to keep you in the position you're in, to get you to wake up every day and face challenges head on. All that talent, all them gifts, and you can't even take a challenge by life. That's what God tests you for, to build your character. And it seemed like the worse things get, the more fellowship you have with him. And the more you fellowship with him, he put his character in you. Next thing you know, you start acting more like him. You start talking more like him. You start responding to people more like him. You start feeling more like him because you done been through the same stuff he been through before. You like, I never knew God really thought about this like this until I went through it. He's making you a man or woman after his own heart by allowing you to experience firsthand exactly what he has went through and still have to go through. It's like that by design. Just trust him because he's still with you and showing you mercy. So let me ask you a trick question. I want you to know up front, this is a trick question. Okay? What got Joseph out of the position he was in? What got him out of prison? Was it because he was prophesying and he just so happened to meet the right people? Is that what got him out? Go ahead, answer that question in yourself. I'm going to continue with everything else. So, I know this can be hard to do, but continue to serve the mission. Continue to be a servant of God, even when you are at the mercy of life, even when you are at the mercy of others, even when you are down, even when you are disabled, even when you are incapable. Continue doing it anyway. Even when Joseph was in prison, he in there prophesying. I mean, he could have just got mad at God and saying, you know what, like, forget all of this. I don't want to do none of this. Like, God, if you really wanted me to serve you, you would have me out there, not in here. Like, he could have really had that attitude. He really could have. And I'm sure he did. I'm really sure he did have that attitude. I can only imagine. Now, you in prison 13 years, or in Egypt in bondage 13 years. And you mean to tell me in all 13 years that thought has never crossed his mind? Like, oh, the Lord wants nothing to do with somebody like me. Anyway, I can't do anything right without my life turning into something worse. Like, I don't see why God will want me to serve him anyway. Like, people can't even look at me and say, oh, that's somebody who knows the Lord. No, all they'll ever see is a slave and a prisoner. He could have really had that attitude, and I'm sure he probably did. What do you think it meant when it said, but the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy? God was like, I know you don't understand. I know you don't understand, but still do it anyway. I have a plan for you. Even though Joseph was locked in prison, he was still in there interpreting dreams and prophesying. So what got him out of the position he was in? It wasn't because he still served the Lord in this position. That's not what got him out of there. No, that's not what got him out of there. It wasn't because he prophesied to the baker and the cupbearer. No, it was through that. Don't ever think that it's something you can do to get out of your position. There is nothing you can do. All you can do is to continue doing what God has made you for. All you can do is to continue to do what he asked you to do. And don't think that it's only going to take this one move and my life will change. Nope. Like, I guarantee you can make that one move that's supposed to change your life. If you was anybody else, it would. But just because you're you is why it won't. Because God have other plans. You can do everything somebody else say you supposed to do. You do it. It all flip around on your head. Out of the sky blue. You like, what the heck? The only thing that got Joseph out of the position he was in is because God was ready. That's it. He was ready. I'm sure Joseph's prayers have reached the heavens. And he said, I have suffered the misery of my servant long enough. It is time. You are well done and fully baked and ready to be served. And ready to be served. And not served by people, but served to people. That's the thing. See, everybody think that being promoted and being in the right position and being the boss and being more well off is about other people serving you. No, you are being served to others. It's not even about you being a servant of others. Is you are being served by God to others. That's really what he was waiting on. Is for him to be fully baked and ready to be served. And you never really know at what point that might mean. You could probably just get tired and give up of just trying to get out of your situation. And then it's that one last day when you like, hey, if you can you ask Pharaoh to get me out of here? Like, I'm not expecting him to say yeah, but like, it's worth a try. It might be that one day when you like forget all about what God has promised you. Like, you just forgot all about it. It's like, look, if he do it, he do it. If he don't, he don't. I just know I need to get out of here. I'm not even thinking about what God promised me, man. It's like, it's been so long. And it's not like I don't care, but like, it just ain't on the top of my mind no more, you know? Like, I'm not wiggling and squirming, trying to get out of this position. I'm not fighting for my life. He said, if you try to keep your life, you'll lose it. But if you lose it, you'll find it. I'm sure Joseph's attitude was, I'm as good as a dead man, and I'm fine with that. Now you're ready to be served. To people, not by people. Even though Joseph became second in command of Egypt, it would look like people serve him. But no. He's not being served by people. He's being served to people. At the perfect time, a famine. But right before famine, 7 years of plenty. Dang, and you know what? Now that I think about it, though, I just got done talking about how all of this was going to take place in a lot of our lives during the last 7 years. And Joseph got out in just enough time for that 7 years. And then it was 7 more years, right? But he got out of prison in just enough time to be prepared for that 7 years. Some of y'all are going to have 7 years of plenty, and then God has got to use you to help other people get through 7 years of famine. But he got to send you ahead of the situation. Joseph would have never been in that situation in his father's house. And he definitely could have got in that situation not a slave or in prison either. Like, there could have been 1.5 million ways God worked that out. He chose it this way because he had to bake him in the oven like that. And even though Joseph might have gotten sad, felt played, he still kept serving God. I mean, just yesterday, he's sitting here wondering, God, like, please do something. The next day, he's serving him with his whole heart. And then the day after that, he's sitting there mad, like, oh, why did you do this to me? What did I do so wrong to you to end up like this? And then the day after that, you know what? Hey, let God be true, and whatever he want to do with me is whatever he want to do with me. It don't really matter. Serving him with his whole heart. But it's going to come a time when he say, all right, it's time to get you out the oven. That's kind of what's going on here. Can anybody comprehend this, or is this just something that sounds good to people? Like, is this something you can relate to, or is this just something that sounds interesting? You know, most of the things I talk about, I'm not trying to sound interesting. Like, I'm not trying to make it deeper than what it is. Like, these are real things people go through, for real. Like, these are real things that real people go through. Like, these are real things that real people think, real people see, real people live through. Like, I'm not just taking some Bible story and trying to puff it up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I'm talking about here. I see exactly what I'm looking at, even in my own life. But I want you to stay strong through yours, because it's not always what you think. And always remember, the Lord is with you. And even though you can't see the blessings on your life as though the Lord is with you, he's still with you and will show you mercy. Even though you have nothing, you need for nothing. Even though you can do nothing, everything still get done. Somehow, some way, the Lord will show you mercy. So always remember that. But I've come to the end of this message, y'all. I just want y'all to stay strong and stay encouraged. If you enjoy the content, please like the video. If you're new, subscribe to the channel for more. And if you have any questions or anything, just leave them in the comments, because, yeah, like, interaction is important. I need to know what's going on sometime. Right? It's always important for us to stay in touch with each other. Always encourage each other and let each other know, hey, man, I'm praying for you. So with that being said, y'all have a good rest of your day. Peace.